Fire away, sir.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Eternal Midnight. I am Santino, and we hope you are having a good Friday wherever you are, or Saturday wherever I am. Today we're joined by someone special, a good friend of mine from Tumblr, Erica. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. How's everyone else?
We're doing great. Chad, how are you, man?
I'm doing good.
And Kevin?
Awesome, because we're talking about the Deathly Hallows.
Yes, this we are at the finale, the last two movies, Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Deathly Hallows Part 2. And we hope and this is gonna be an amazing ride since Deathly Hallows is my favorite HP book and I know it's Erica's as well. So we're all excited. We're all ready to talk about it. So let's get into it. Deathly Hallows Part 1. Let's start with Kevin, since this is one of your favorites. Go
It's not my
ahead.
favorite one, but
why do you like it? Why do you like it?
okay. For me, Deathly Hallows is almost the best because it gets beaten by Part 2. But I gotta say, I really love the Deathly Hallows because it actually feels very refreshing. Because at this point, we kind of know like the whole formula with the other Harry Potter movies and books. So it was really refreshing that instead of like going to Hogwarts, they're going on this quest to find the Horcruxes to defeat Voldemort. And I gotta say that it was very intense. Like throughout the movie, I was always having the feeling of tension and all that. And I gotta say, the more I listen to the score, the more I just love it because it is just amazing. Like the composer for the Deathly Hallows was just awesome.
I have an opinion there that you might not like. I thought that the score was good, but I feel like there were certain parts where the music just didn't fit the vibe. Like some of the happier vibes and the more like for the battle, those were really good. All the scores during the battle, but for part one, I just felt like I don't know, I didn't like it as much as other movies.
I in my opinion, Deathly Hallows Part 1 is my least favorite because Deathly Hallows Part 1 in my opinion is the definition of wasted potential. Because think about it. Think about it. This is the first time a studio did a part 1 and part 2. You know that? This is the first time a studio did a part 1 and part 2 ever. So like from then on, from that time on, people will follow this. Like Hunger Games followed it, The Hobbit followed it, Marvel followed it with Infinity War and Endgame. So the problem is like this
You're
should be
forgetting the most important one that also did that, Santino.
which one?
Twilight.
Yeah, I was say that.
Oh yeah, Twilight and supposedly Zack Snyder's Justice League, which didn't happen sadly. But but the thing is, this should be like the number one of. You should follow the book to the letter, and yet they really, for part one, I mean, my opinion, they really did a bad job at following the book.
Yes.
Yeah, this is one of the movies in my opinion that this is my least favorite HP movie for the sole fact of they really cut out so much stuff and added one scene which I'll get into later, which I really Erica knows what I'm talking about.
I do too.
Yeah,
If you're talking about the scene that I know you are, then I'm going to defend it.
okay,
No.
whatever. That in my opinion, that's indefensible. Like they're not supposed to do that. But anyway,
Let's get to that later.
Yeah. So the positives first. The positives. I think that's all I know. Since it's a good vibe right now we have. Let's all do the positives. Let's talk about the positives of Deathly Hallows. Like, what do you think are the positives of Deathly Hallows Part 1? So, Erica, go ahead.
For me, I think there were certain scenes that were done really well. Like, for example, at the beginning, the meeting with the Death Eaters. I really liked that. It definitely set the right vibe. And I liked that they had that big hug with Ron, Hermione, and Harry once they after the flight of the Seven Potters. I'm glad that they included that. I'm glad that And yeah, I'm really happy. If they cut that, I would be so mad. And then what else did I like? Mm,
You know, there's not much when you have to think about it.
I think some of the shots that they got, like when they were in the tent and they were camping and stuff, those were like they did a good job of showing how freaking boring that was.
Oh,
And I think, yeah, I don't know. There's so many parts of that should have been in part one that I love so much from the books that aren't there or they changed. So that's the part that there's so many scenes that honestly would have been so much better if they added it in. Like it doesn't make sense why they cut it. I mean, it. Oh my God. Anyways, those are my positives. I'll go into the negatives more later.
the positives for me are like I like the break-in at the ministry. I thought it was a good scene, like good good moments, tensions amped up. The polyjuice potion is like I think it's the best scene in the entire movie where they break in and they like find the locket. I mean, like, everything after that, it sucks ass. I mean, okay, no, it doesn't. I like the animation of the Deathly Hallows.
Yes.
And when Hermione tells a story and you flash back and the anime, it's well done.
That was cool. That was really cool to see. I love the style that they went with.
Yeah, I love the style that they went with. Yeah, it looks like they're puppets or something like that, but they're not really puppets. They have no strings. So like that's cool to see. And I like the Seven Potters battle. I mean, it's awesome. It stands Hagrid's on his motorcycle, flying, and yeah, that's it for me. I can't think of anything positive to say after that. Oh yeah, and one more, the running scene where they're running and the snatchers are chasing them before Malfoy Manor. That was pretty good. Tense.
I like it.
One thing that I did like was the moment when Harry is gonna like leave on his own, but then Ron comes and stops him. I really like that because it wasn't in the books, so it was a nice moment that they showed, and I'm glad they didn't have Hermione doing that.
Wasn't that an addition though?
Factor if they didn't do what they did later in the movie, but okay. Okay, so Kevin, this is one of your favorite films, positives, man. Defend this movie.
My positives. Let's go. So there's actually a few themes that I did notice that like the loss of innocence, like for example when Hedwig gets killed. I actually prefer when Hedwig actually has a heroic death instead of just like dying in a cage in the book. Like many of the characters have to make some choices which will because they're on the run now, so they have to worry about like how what if they get tracked and all that? So they have to make a lot of choices and hope there aren't many negative consequences towards them. And like I'm starting to see like Harry is coping with a lot of he's dealing with a lot of issues, like loss and all that. Dumbledore's gone, and like soon after that when Ron leaves, so he has to deal with a lot of pressure and all that. And whoops. Sorry, I'm reading my notes and I accidentally scrolled. But I agree with what you said. Like the chase scene was actually pretty good. Like I was kind of worried that the shakiness would go a little too far, but I think it was done so well where like the camera is shaking, but at the same time I can see what is going on and I can understand what's going on. And honestly, it makes me feel the adrenaline that the scene's going on there.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, now I remember what I was going to talk about. Yeah, I love the opening actually. Because it sets up how the characters are going to go through this big epic journey, and also I love the freaking score. Like that's one of my favorite tracks in the entire film. And like I think the most heartbreaking part was when Hermione had to obliviate her parents, and like I actually noticed actually through a YouTube video where I listened closely, and I like when she's walking away from the house, you can actually hear her crying. So like Yeah.
Emma Watson's crying is horrible. I'm
Oh,
sorry. Whenever she cries, it's just so like obviously she's fake crying, but it's just so bad. I just like have to bite my tongue. It's like ugh.
yep. I have to agree with her. It's like she's trying to force the tears to come out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, so is that all, Kevin? Any other positives?
Um, I really do like some of the small moments as well, you know, because it does give some. I guess it just gives us more character moments, and you know, I'm trying to figure out what else to say, but I have too much written here. I don't want to say too much,
No,
but
you can go a bit more detailed. Yeah, sort of.
I should have read this before I started this. Okay, now I remember. Yes, I got it. So
Yeah.
I like how every time there was an uplifting and happy moment, it usually be followed up with a pretty sad event. You know, like
Yeah.
you know, when the characters get to the burrow, we see how many of the characters are all right, but then we hear Mad Eye's dead, and then suddenly the room's just
George's ear though.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Comes back in part 2 somehow.
Yeah, it's the mistake they have. The ear comes back in part 2 for some reason.
Hmm.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It's like one shot. Yeah, but anyway.
magic.
Yeah.
All right. So negatives. Here we go.
Oh no.
Well, I didn't even give my positives.
Positives for this movie?
I liked everything at Malfoy Manor. I
didn't.
liked the story of Deathly Hallows. Yeah, that's about it. The rest of the movie is long, boring, and extreme. Godric's Hollow was kind of tense, I'd say, in the house. But this movie is just it's just so forgettable. I mean, it was obviously necessary. We had to watch it to get part 2, but it was just there's just so much I don't even remember about this movie, and I don't really watch it that often because whenever I'm done with it, I just kind of forget about it.
It kind of makes you just want to watch part 2 instead, huh?
Yeah, and usually that's what I do. I kind of will just fast forward through it and then put part 2 on.
Okay, so
I like how you said it. You're like, wait, you actually have positives.
yeah, wait, you actually have positives? Yeah.
Yeah, like
We agree on. This is our least favorite Harry Potter movie. This is the one that's bad, right? I mean, like, it's really not good. I mean, okay, the negatives. Erica, you and me, let's go. Let's burn this movie.
Who should I go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, so the first point is that the mirror that Harry has, the piece of the mirror. Well, they cut Sirius giving him the mirror in Order of the Phoenix. But the thing is that if they were gonna add it in somehow, I don't get why they wouldn't have had him find the mirror when they were already at Grimmauld Place, which is where the mirror would have been. So he would like find the shard and look in it and see Aberforth or something, or Aberforth's eye, because he just kind of has it already, and like people are like, what's that? And what else? They didn't even try to make Hermione's hair curly in this one, and I hate that.
They stopped that since
and
second.
They didn't include Ron and Hermione dancing at the wedding.
Yeah, I know. That's
hurt me so much because like they could have just done like even just like a few seconds of showing them dancing together. I don't get what the necessity was to cut that. Like, why?
Erica, do you know that there was supposed to be a deleted scene where her and Victor Krum were supposed to dance? They cut it out.
Don't even. And then there's the fight in the tent.
Oh.
Okay, where to start? So first of all, Harry, when Harry mentions like, did you think that you'd be back with your mom by Christmas? in the book he says mummy, which kind of makes like Harry seem like more of an asshole the way he said that. So they had him say mom instead, which like I didn't really like because that fight, like they were both kind of not being super great to each other.
Yeah.
And then there's the part where they had Rupert Grint say that his parents were dead. And Harry's supposed to say that. And like they just totally messed that up and made Ron look way worse. And Hermione was like bawling her eyes out during this fight. And they also cut the fact that Harry literally told him to leave like 3 times before he actually left. That really bothered me, that they made Ron look way more like pissed off than like, not pissed off, but they made Harry look too good in that scene because they were both being idiots in that scene.
Yeah, they were both being idiots, but they vilified Ron for no reason at all. Like, it's not the line is wrong. Like, it's supposed to be Harry who says that his parents are dead, not Ron.
And I'm not sure if I have this right, but I'm pretty sure that at one point Harry snaps at Hermione.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he does.
He snaps at Hermione, and then Ron's like, "Don't start on her."
Yeah.
But no, Hermione's just like, "There, stop," and then he leaves, and it's like she's like has one tear, and it's like the person you're in love with just left. You should be crying.
Because, like we've said in the past couple episodes, there's no chemistry between Hermione and Ron at all.
You mean Emma Watson and Rupert Grint?
Yeah, I mean none. Like even we'll get to it when we get to part 2, but even at the end when it like they're getting together, even then they just didn't even look like they wanted to be together. It just
because Steve Kloves didn't want them to be together. That's why.
Yeah, they didn't want to be together, which is weird because Emma Watson was the biggest Ron Hermione shipper out there. Like, look at the videos of Passing. She wanted that, but like the writer and his bad script for The Tales Part 1 didn't want that either. And I think, Erica, we should discuss probably the most hated moment in the entire film, the dance scene.
Dance, okay.
Oh, this was awful, I swear. You lead. I'm gonna sit back.
So I've watched some behind the scenes stuff regarding that dance. And, some say that it was one of those things where they wanted a moment of happiness before, like, when everything was kind of sad. And I understand that. But they could have had it in a less intimate way of them just, like, dancing and being goofy. And then there's that, like, almost kiss moment. And I was just like, no, they're not going to do that. They would never do that. And that just really bothered me because what they said there was that moment where like maybe this could happen, but no, it's not right. So we're not doing it. But it's like that would never ever happen. Like,
it would never happen to Harry and Hermione because
they were miserable, and Hermione was like crying constantly, and Harry didn't know how to comfort her. Literally, she when Ron left, she was crying, and he threw Ron's sleeping bag at her. That's how he comforted her. I'm not even kidding. That's what it says in the book.
It's funny because it's just so cruel.
Yeah, the thing is, Harry and Hermione saw each other as siblings. They're not. Harry has a type. He likes Cho. He likes Ginny. Athletic girls who play Quidditch and all that. Hermione.
Emotions.
Oh, sorry. What?
Harry is not good at emotions.
Yeah, he's really not. So it's like it wouldn't make sense for his character to do that. I mean, the fact that the reason why the dance scene is the worst scene in the entire series, in my opinion, is because it implies something that never would have happened ever. Never in the Harry Potter series was Harry in love with Hermione. Never.
Never, ever, ever.
I mean, and to top it all off, the song they're using is not even from 1998. It's from 2002. So
I think honestly, like,
wrong, right? I mean,
I mean, Order of the Phoenix had that same problem as well because they played a song from like the 2000s as well.
yeah.
I mean, like, it's bad. I mean,
Okay. Can I defend it now?
okay, yeah, go ahead, go.
Alrighty, so I actually really love that scene actually. So I'm the opposite of you guys. But like you said, because I kind of saw it as more like, Harry trying to make his friend happy because, they're basically miserable at this point, because we already know that Ron already left. But, yeah. So I actually saw more as like, Harry's just like thinking, there's a song playing, maybe, I don't know, just dance or something. Like I actually really like that scene.
That's just so out of character for him though, because he
Yeah.
never acts like that.
He never acts like that. He never dances because Harry's never good with emotions. Like I really hated the fact that Ron and Hermione didn't dance at all. Like that was the moment where like Ron said that he corrected his Yule Ball mistake.
Yes.
He was like, I'm gonna make up for what happened 4 years ago or 3 years ago with Hermione. So that should have been like the power moment. And like the main problem I have with that house, okay, I'm gonna go in rant mode right now. With Deathly Hallows is it has two power scenes that should have been in the movie, but they cut it out or they watered it down.
3
Number
actually.
one. Huh?
3 in my opinion.
Oh, 3. Okay, well, I'll mention the 2, and Erica, you mentioned the 1. Okay, the first one is the locket scene. Like in the book, this is how it went down. Harry is saved by Ron. Ron opens the locket, and you know how it is. Like the demons, like the demonized versions of Harry and Hermione come out. They taunt Ron and basically give out all his insecurities, because that's a symbolism right there. A locket is something that you keep close to your heart. So like your insecurities or something you keep close. So like when it's open and for everyone to see, that's the symbolism that J.K. Rowling put in there, right? So the problem was that in the movie they do the same thing, like we were better without you, happy without you, and then like Ron does the thing like in the book it's described as Ron having a tinge of red in his eye, almost as if Voldemort got to him. So like the defense there is like the theory there is that what J.K. Rowling is trying to say is that Ron almost got possessed by Voldemort, but he fought it off and destroyed the locket. So then Ron's on the ground crying because of what he's seen, and this is the part where this is the power moment. It's a moment between Harry and Ron that says that I loved her like a sister. I always thought you had known that. Like Harry says explicitly, I loved Hermione like a sister. She loves you. She's been crying for so long after you left.
He never says she loves you, but
oh yeah, sorry.
Says that Hermione is without you she was like crying so much, and she wasn't there. They barely even talked, and it was a really really nice moment between Ron and Harry, and I actually cried while I was reading it, and the fact that they cut it makes me so mad, because like that's an intense moment, and I'm really pissed off that J.K. Rowling wasn't like, hey, you got to put that in,
Yeah, I'm really pissed off that J.K. Rowling didn't because she's like the one calling the shots. She could have said like, hey, I want that in.
She's the one, like I think she had to approve all the screenplays and stuff, and like she technically she had like veto power, and the fact that she cut that just like I didn't like that.
Yeah, I also didn't. The second power scene for me is the scene, I think Erica, you know what I'm talking about, the Malfoy Manor scene. Yeah. Malfoy Manor was amazing in the book. It was so tense, like you don't know what's happening. Hermione is not subjugated to a knife. She's the Cruciatus curse is used on her. And in my opinion, the reason why what really was so powerful was that when Hermione is being tortured, Ron is literally punching the walls and he's pounding her and screaming for her. Like this is a moment where like this guy is in love with her. Like she doesn't like this is the moment where like like you gotta like he's showing his love for Hermione like in the most he's freaking out and
he offered his life for her. Literally, when Bellatrix said, take like all but the mudblood. And then first thing Ron says is like, no, take me.
Yeah,
like that is love. Like that, when I read that scene, I was crying too. But I think, honestly, with Ron, that scene was a moment where he was just like, holy crap, I am so in love with her.
Yep, that's the one. So, Erica, what was your power scene? You said there were 3, but what was the third?
Well, the third one was actually the fight, just because like that fight, they just handled that so wrong, and it was more so just like, I hate how much they changed the actual wording and lines that they said. I feel like if they had put it in word for word, it would have been much better. But yeah. But another.
Yeah, that's how I felt about the scene at the end of Order of the Phoenix compared to the book. When Harry and Dumbledore finally sat down and talked, it was 1,000 times better than anything they did in the movie for that one. So I know what you mean about this scene.
Yeah.
Can I say one more thing about the Malfoy Manor?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So the other thing is, I don't get why they didn't include the part where Wormtail's fake hand like chokes himself, because Harry and Ron like tackle him and end up with his wand, and then Harry says, "You owe me," and then he backs away, and then the fake hand that Voldemort gave him starts choking himself, and Ron and Harry are like trying to stop it, but he ends up dying. I don't get why they didn't include that. Also, Hermione should be unconscious.
Yeah.
She was unconscious when the chandelier fell.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I said, the Cruciatus Curse, it's so much pain. It literally blacks you out. And of course, like we gotta talk about the last, like the main thing before we move on to Deathly Hallows Part 2. Dobby's death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was powerful. I mean, Dobby obviously got a lot more scenes in the books, but it was still sad when he died.
What do you think?
I still cry about it.
Yeah, Dobby's death felt rushed. Like he doesn't come out in any other movie except 2. But like when he died, I was like, yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah.
They did include him in the like Grimmauld place in Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
I think.
Yeah, you were saying.
I think one thing about that is I want to praise is I think Daniel Radcliffe did an amazing job with that scene with Dobby. He was really good. I really, really liked how he did a really good job of expressing how sad Harry was. Yeah,
he really did. I really feel like that scene where Dobby dies, it's what makes Deathly Hallows Part 1 to me like not a bad film. Like there are good moments in it for sure, but man, the inconsistencies with this film are just like, in my opinion, too much. Like Kevin, I know you like it, and that's fine. We all have our own opinions, and that's what makes us unique, in my opinion. So if you like it, that's really, really okay. So, but in my opinion, and I think Erica agrees with me, like it's just too much changed to the point where I don't like what they did after. And I think Chad for you.
I just find it boring. I forget about it almost every time I watch it. It's just, there's nothing to hook me. Nothing in the story interests me. I mean, none of it.
Yeah, so. My main problems with it is just the fact that they took all of these, like the first part of Deathly Hallows is kind of slow, but the interesting big parts, they took them and changed them. That's the part that I didn't like.
I think, you summed it up perfectly. Yeah, the interesting big parts, they took them and changed them.
Like the big fights, big emotions, those ones they changed, and I just really didn't like that. So
yeah.
Here's what I gotta say. Like, I mean, obviously, like, I'm not against like people comparing the books, but like sometimes I don't know. I just feel like we compare them a little too much to the books. I feel like we don't like actually look at like what they presented us, and sure, like when we compare them, obviously the book is much better than the films, but I don't know.
No, but
Like,
yeah, but there are moments where
I try to look at it just as like what we're given like with the film and all that. I try to stay away from the book most of the time. Like I only use it a few times as like references for reviewing it and all that.
No, but you can never just stray away from it. I mean, like you always have to at one point.
Like I do use it sometimes, like like Goblet of Fire sometimes as well, and some other films, but I don't know. I just feel like compare it a little too much sometimes.
Oh yeah, well okay, well that's your opinion. But to each his own, man, Kevin. We're not dissing you. Like if you love the Tales Part 1, it's fine, man. I mean, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just wish I could say more.
We all have what?
Well, I wish we could say more. But I think we should like start to move.
No, nothing to say. The movie sucked. Let's get on to the best one.
All right, we are at the finale. Okay,
to the one that I can
Hallows
finally go all out, just suck this movie off. I love this movie.
This movie. Okay, I think we all agree, four of us, that this movie is one of the best. Like,
easily, it is one of the best finale. It's probably, I honestly think it's one of the best finales ever made in the history of cinema.
I agree. I mean, I have a few criticisms, but I definitely agree that they handled it very well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kevin, what do you think, man? I mean, we can all agree on this, right? I mean, this is the one. This is the one, right? That everyone loves. Kevin?
Yeah, I agree. Like this movie, I love like more than part one because so can I give out why I love it?
Yeah, we'll all give out why we love it. So there's so many big moments in this film that I hope that we can cover it within 45 minutes of our time left. All right, so order Kevin, Erica, Chad, and I'll go last. So Kevin, you go first. Why do you love this film? I mean, like, there's so much to love, but yeah, go ahead.
Alrighty, so the opening is just amazing. Like,
yes,
it feels like a funeral actually, because like music sounds like it belongs to the funeral. Like the logos, they just look like they're a grave, like a tombstone almost. And I don't know, it's just like it just really does show that there's going to be a lot of sadness and loss with the film, and the score is just, oh my goodness, it's just like I can't say much about the score because I'm not good at describing, but man, is it just sad, and it just
Lily's theme is iconic. I'm sorry, it really is. The scene that's used in the memory of Snape, that is iconic.
Like the more I listen to the Hallows, the more like the score of the Deathly Hallows, the more I see your point on Harry Potter score being better than Star Wars.
Yeah, right. See, I know.
Part 2.
Yeah.
Part 2 score is better than part 1. I'll admit that. I think they did a good job handling the suspense with the battle scenes. Yeah, I definitely like the score for part 2.
Also, I would like to say like the Courtyard Apocalypse is probably my favorite scene in the entire franchise because like they throw a lot of references to the other movies. Like we see the spiders, the trolls, we see the Dementors, there was like Fenrir Greyback and Lavender. Like I just feel like they reference every single movie up to that point. So that was just awesome. And like someone actually pointed out, like the guy in like on the broom at the beginning of the Courtyard Apocalypse was actually Oliver Wood, and I did not know that until after a few more rewatches. So that was just
awesome. That was an interesting cameo. I couldn't even see his face. So I couldn't really like. Is that Oliver Wood?
I only found out about it through like watching other YouTube videos where they talk about all the hidden Easter eggs. And it's like, oh hey.
And I gotta say, like I think actually another scene that would rival Courtyard Apocalypse was the Snape memory scene where we actually get to see we get to understand Snape's character a lot more. And like I really didn't like Snape at that point, up to that point. And like when I finally saw that, like while it doesn't make up for many of the like how he was a mean teacher and all that, but I was able to sympathize with him, because like he basically he risked his life just to, do it in the name of his love for Lily. So I just thought that was powerful, and the score just makes me sad every time. Like, oh my goodness.
How about you?
Can I just say, and I hope everyone agrees with me, that of all of the movies, Alan Rickman was absolutely amazing in part 2. His acting was incredible.
Yes.
Of all the movies, this was his best. And like that beginning where he's standing and looking out on Hogwarts, and he's like, you see so many different mixed feelings just in his look. He was the best actor, and he should have gotten at least a nomination for best supporting actor for an Oscar or something. That's how good he was, I feel.
Biggest Oscar snub.
I swear, like this was like Alan Rickman's best performance. Erica, your positives on this film? I'm sure there are a lot.
Yeah, so definitely, like I said, that beginning where basically the students are like marching and Snape is looking out on the grounds, and there's all these mixed emotions and feelings on his face, and I really liked the way they did that. And I think the Gringotts break-in was like perfect.
Oh, the Gringotts, yeah, I agree.
The special effects were amazing. The only criticism that I do have is the fact that they had Hermione suggest that they climb onto the dragon's back. Hermione would never, ever, ever do that. Like, no. It was Harry, and like that they should not have given that to Hermione. But it wasn't a huge big deal. I love badass McGonagall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She was great in that. And the kiss between Ron and Hermione, I definitely liked the book's version, but I liked the way that they did that. The way that they had them kiss. And Matt Lewis as Neville was really, really great as well. That was Neville's moment.
Speech and him killing Nagini was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, I swear, I got goosebumps. Like I got goosebumps when like Ron and Hermione fell, and Neville just like cut Nagini's head off, like, and he screamed like.
It's funny. As much as I like that scene where he killed Nagini, I actually preferred his most badass moment when he stood up to Voldemort and gave that big speech.
Agreed.
Yes.
I love that as well.
One thing that I really did like, I really like that they added in that kiss, like before Harry's about to go find the Ravenclaw diadem. They had a little moment between Harry and Ginny. That was something that I feel was missing from the books. I would have liked some kind of moment between the two of them, either after the battle or something like that, like a kiss or just I feel like that was missing from the book. So I like that they put that in there. And then I like Ron's line. Oh, the Fiend Fire scene in the room.
Oh yeah, the Fiend Fire scene.
Amazing. The special effects were great, and I love that line that they gave Ron where he's like, "My girlfriend, you numpty." Yeah. And
Malfoy should have died in the fire, in my opinion. He should have just gotten. He should have gotten just killed right there.
Yeah.
Here's like, I think the biggest missed opportunity was like there was actually a deleted scene where like Malfoy actually gives Harry his wand when like he actually finds out Harry's alive. So I wish they included that actually in the film. I don't know why they cut it out.
My feelings on Draco Malfoy are that I hate him in the book. I hate what he did to Ron. I hate what he did to Harry. I hate what he did to Hermione. And my thing is though, after the books, I definitely think that he has the potential for a redemption arc. Yeah. I feel like he would apologize, but I don't think that Harry, Ron, and Hermione would want him in their life. I feel like they would say like, thank you for apologizing, and then they would, I don't think they would want him in their life after everything that they put him through.
They'd probably just have that like distant respect like they had at the end of the movie when they just see
Yeah.
each other, a quick nod. They don't walk up and shake hands. They don't ask how they're doing. It's just hey, I acknowledge you're there. You acknowledge I'm here. Move on.
Yeah.
Like, just make their, they make their peace, and then they're like, yep, so let's just move on and do
Yeah.
our.
But
Okay, sorry. Continue.
there's a few more things that I have that I liked. I really liked how the way they handled Snape dying, and like I said, Alan Rickman again was amazing in that. I like that they added in Alan Rickman saying, "You have your mother's eyes,"
Yeah.
before he died, because in the book he just said, "Look at me."
Yeah.
And then the part where I have some negatives about this, but one thing that I really liked is when they went into the Great Hall and Ron saw that Fred had died, and the way he was crying and the way they did that was just like, my heart was like breaking into pieces. So I think that was really well done.
Yeah, and then we see Remus Lupin and Tonks just lying there.
Yeah.
That was painful to watch.
Yeah. Dan Radcliffe was really amazing. His acting was incredible in this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, okay, Chad, your turn, man. You just watched this, so go ahead, go all out.
My positives are from the beginning all the way till the end. I literally loved every minute of it when I rewatched it this afternoon. This movie literally covers the gambit of everything a good movie should have. It's got its slow moments where we're given time to breathe. It's got just amazing action scenes sprinkled throughout. It's got some extremely emotional scenes. I mean, I think the most emotional scene, Santino, it's the one I sent you the video clip of.
Yeah,
It's when the whole Ponsive scene itself, just the whole thing of that. I mean, that scene itself literally changes everything that we've seen so far. And I think it's so cool that they were able to like just nail it and knock it out of the park. And that scene where Snape is just holding Lily's body and just weeping is just that hits so hard. And it's like that is one of the few scenes in movies that like actually brings tears to my eyes, because it's like this poor guy, he fell in love with this girl when he was an outcast. He lost her and he still cared about her. He put his entire life on the line for her, and he just had everything ripped away from him. It like literally made Snape one of like my favorite characters ever created in fiction.
Agreed.
Yeah.
He's complex, I don't agree with what all he did, but he definitely is a complex character, and really J.K. Rowling wrote him so well, the point where I think that he did a lot. He did a lot of bad stuff, but the good stuff also was there. So I acknowledge that he did that stuff. He did that also.
My opinion with Snape is like, I think, like I said, he's a very complex character, and I think that he was really harsh during the rest of the series, like the way he handled it. But I partly understand it, because he's got all these mixed feelings of like hating his dad but being in love with his mom. But at the end, he was always kind of that secret good guy that didn't want to say he was good, literally. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say more when it's my turn.
I like it. I do like it how they played the Dumbledore's funeral track for the the last minutes of the pensive scene, and that always is that was just brilliant. Like that, like the delivery, the score, like everything was just great.
Definitely. All right, so my turn. The part 2 is basically you guys said everything. Like you.
Yeah.
You practically said everything. I mean, like, what is that? Okay, I love the fact that I love the big moments. Like the Gringotts break-in was, like so insane. I love how it was done. That dragon looks more real than 90% of MCU movies. That dragon does look real. I love the fact that I love the entire battle scene, like where they just running around, kicking ass and People are like, it's the apocalypse at the courtyard, and everyone's just like blowing stuff up. No one mentioned McGonagall conjuring up the statues. I thought that was so cool.
I love how she said it too. I've always wanted to do that spell.
Oh, I love that. Especially when they like put the protective like charms around the school. Like, oh my goodness.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
the effects for that was great.
The effects for the shield were amazing, and I love how like basically the entire Death Eater squad just like rains fire down, and then when Ron and Hermione
Just takes it out in one shot.
Yeah, when Ron and Hermione like destroy the Horcrux, he just gets so mad. He annihilates the shield, and you just know like when the shield's falling down, you know that this is war. And then like that scene where Neville blows up the bridge with the Snatchers, that was so awesome. Like I really love it. No one mentions though, like one of the smaller moments I really liked. No one mentioned the scene where Harry and Aberforth talk. Like where Harry and Aberforth talk, and Aberforth says like, you didn't know my brother, like he was selfish and all that. Like, it gave us a glimpse like, hey, Dumbledore's not this, he's not this saint that you should revere. And like I like what he says, like Dumbledore gave me a job, and Aberforth says, good job. Is it easy? Like, Dumbledore is like, Aberforth knows like this. Dumbledore, his brother had a past, like and he says that you're not. I like what he says, like you're not lying. You're lying to yourself. It doesn't matter that you're lying to me. You're lying to yourself. Like you didn't know my brother. I like that scene where they talk. I love that scene where me. I'm the biggest Ron and Hermione fan. One of the biggest Ron and Hermione fans. And I love that scene where they kiss. The fan fire scene was amazing. Where they just like, where it forms into animals, like how it was described in the book. There's a dragon, a snake, a lion, tiger. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And no one mentioned the resurrection stone scene. Like that was well done, in my opinion.
Yes.
Except they didn't have them standing by him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they went away as soon as.
Like I feel like they should have had that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be an interesting thing, and it would make him feel less scared. So.
Yeah, they should have had that. Like
the resurrection stone though.
What?
Like he dropped the resurrection stone.
Yeah, he dropped the stone. So
he did that in the book too, though.
Yeah, but they were still there, right? So I don't understand why that didn't happen.
I mean,
yeah, because they're like, we're here till the end.
And then
he drops it and they go away, and it's not the end.
Another thing that I forgot to bring up was in part 1 and 2, Jason Isaacs, who played Lucius Malfoy, did a really great job of showing how like broken he was. You know what I mean?
He went from like the second in command to the most disgraced of all the Death Eaters.
And like they had him with stubble. They showed how scared he was, and he did a really great job of showing how like honestly pathetic he felt.
Yeah, his last scene was him and his wife and son running.
Yeah, they ran from the battle.
But yeah, like I said, Jason Isaacs did a really great job with that in the 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, definitely. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I think he was underrated, especially in part 1 and part 2.
Like we haven't actually talked about like the fight between Harry and Voldemort actually.
Oh yeah.
The main thing that we came to see, and we don't talk about it. Like I gotta say, I really
issue with it, but you guys, I like the fight. I really do.
Could I go?
Yeah. Erica, you go.
So there's just a few things that I didn't really like about it. Like I didn't like that they cut the part about that shows the backstory with Dumbledore and Grindelwald, because that was kind of like a way to show a different side of Dumbledore.
Yeah, I wish that.
And then George's ear is back. That's more just like it's not a big deal, but it's more just like
inconsistency.
They should have remembered that he didn't have an ear.
Maybe they got a ear and attached it.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that they didn't actually show how Fred died.
Yeah.
That scene was kind of heartbreaking, and I feel like they could have had that in somehow, and I don't like that they cut that.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the way that Voldemort and Bellatrix and Nagini, they didn't show, they don't flake apart into pieces.
Well, because in the book, Voldemort just got killed, and they even said it. They're like, they took his body and they put it in some room somewhere.
Yeah.
And then in this, I mean, I did kind of like the dissolve a little bit better, but it should have just been for like that should have just been saved for him. But maybe they didn't want to just show people dropping dead because I guess CGI flakes gets you a better rating than a dead body. I don't know.
The thing about the Voldemort flaking into pieces is the whole point of like them mentioning that he fell to the ground was to show that at the end of the day he was still human.
Yeah, and his Avada Kedavra rebounded back on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that, but yeah, Erica said it first. Yeah, the whole point of Voldemort that going out was the fact that, at the end of the day, no matter how many Horcruxes you create, at the end of the day, you're just like everyone else. You got killed.
I think they just switched it to that to show a more epic death.
Yeah, but I would prefer like him dropping on the floor. In my opinion, is more finality than him becoming a victim of Thanos' snap for some reason. I don't understand why they had to go through the CGI flakes just to show that he died. Like, nah, like him dropping to the floor like with a thud, and like just like him getting killed shows that he was mortal. Like he in his quest to become immortal, he ended up dying like everyone else. So
I think
here's what I got out of it. For me, what I got out of it was like, in his quest to like, live forever and all that, he actually, made he's actually ruining himself actually, and that would come back to bite him like pretty badly, especially since like, we see what his afterlife's going to be, when Harry is in the King Cross station, like basically like wizard heaven kind of,
You were gonna say something, Erica?
I was just gonna say that I really liked the fight, the battle between Voldemort and Harry at the end when they're kind of all running all over the castle and stuff. I think they did a good job with that, like all the different tricks that they did and all that. And yeah, and the part that I actually really liked was the part where Harry's like, let's end this the way we started, together, and then he throws his arms around them and they jump off and they show them like merging and combining a little bit. Yeah. I saw the behind the scenes, the way they did that. Basically, they hung Ralph Fiennes and Daniel Radcliffe by their feet and had them fighting upside down.
That was kind of a weird moment. Like they merged. It's like that was out of left field. I didn't see it happening, but like I thought it was a cool moment to show that they were like two halves of the same coin,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Scary and like chilling.
Yeah, man.
So I think one of the things I think I would have changed from the end of this, and since I think we've talked about it.
Yeah.
So obviously, they did change up. They didn't give Neville, I think, as much of the story as he got in the books in any of the movies, and I truly think that they should have. I think he should. I know that the big scene in the book with, that's my daughter, bitch, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm cool they adapted it, but I still say Neville should have been the one to kill Bellatrix as revenge for what she did to his parents. Obviously, they wanted to give him his big moment when he killed Nagini, but you know what? Why couldn't they have given that to Ron?
Yes.
Why couldn't Ron have been the one to do that or something?
Yes.
Yeah. I agree there. Like I often thought that, like I love that moment that that they did where Molly's like, not my daughter, you bitch. And honestly, I thought that was just in a movie. And then when I finished reading that, I was like, she actually said that, which I think was awesome. I really liked that. But I do think that killing Bellatrix should have been given to Neville because it's kind of like with regards to her torturing his parents.
Yeah.
And that was awesome that they gave that to Neville, but I feel like they could have made ways to show Molly being badass and have Neville kill Bellatrix.
They could have like flipped it, and Fenrir could have been the one to kill George, and then Molly could have killed him or something. Fred, whatever.
Sorry.
Originally, it was that Bellatrix sent a curse to on Ginny.
Exactly.
And then I think Molly was like, okay, I need to give payback here. They're taking my son. They're almost killing my daughter. Screw you. I'm gonna kill this bitch.
I mean, like, I did like the way Bellatrix went out again, like a Thanos snap victim, where she did.
Yeah, I was like, what did Molly even do to kill her? She didn't do a Vada Kedavra.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's like she petrified her and then like blew her
Shattered her?
Yeah, I guess so.
Sure.
Because that's what I was thinking when I was watching, and I was like, wait, how did she die? She like turned her into a stone and then broke her?
Yeah,
No, that's not how she died though. That's another one of the shredding into pieces thing. That's not how she died in the book. She just fell on the floor and died. And same with Nagini. I feel like that would have been so much better instead of having the snake disappear like that, having him actually like see the Snape getting beheaded.
Yeah.
That would have been better, but I think they might have done that because it's like I think that one was rated PG-13, so that's probably what.
Yeah.
And CGI snake head falls on the floor. Kids would have lived.
True.
Yeah.
You can also see the black smoke as well, because like they killed the snake in front of the entrance of the Great Hall.
Right. They did? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Right at the bottom of the steps.
That's insane.
Yeah, you could actually see
do
it.
like. Huh? Sorry, what?
Like I'm pretty sure you can see it like when, after like Neville beheads the snake. Like I'm pretty sure there's like a long shot or something where we see the snake. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure you see it like from there. But even if you don't, we do know it's in front of the Great Hall, and Harry and like Voldemort are fighting in the courtyard. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're saying, Erica.
The whole thing with the Elder Wand, like.
Oh yeah.
Yep. You know what? I'll agree. They screwed that up at the end.
Why doesn't someone else go? I feel like I'm ranting on and on. Someone else talk about it.
What they did in the book was 10 times better. He repaired his own wand and he moved on. But he didn't even do that in the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, so what wand does he have now?
He returned the Elder Wand to Dumbledore's grave.
Mm-hmm. And he fixed his own wand.
Yeah, he fixed his own wand with the Elder Wand.
Yeah, so because the wands are irreparable unless it's like the Elder Wand, which is like the most powerful wand, which repairs the wand. So like Harry broke his Phoenix wand in the fight at Godric's Hollow. So like I actually agree with what the books did there. They should have repaired his Phoenix wand because that's the one that's been with him.
And that would have been, I think, really cool and symbolic to show Dumbledore's grave again and them like putting the wand back and being done with it. Instead, now it's just in two pieces in the moat.
I don't know. I actually did like, that they, actually broke it because we know like, how powerful it is and what it can be capable of. So better to get rid of it. So
Harry mentioned, right? If the owner, see, Harry owns the Elder Wand. Like if he dies without ever using it anymore, the Elder Wand is unusable.
Yep.
Right?
I don't know.
He broke the lineage of it in the book.
Yeah, he broke the lineage. Like Harry returns it, he won't use it ever again. So like once he dies, once Harry goes to the afterlife, the Elder Wand will be, no one will use it anymore. So like the most powerful one will be unusable because the last owner was never defeated.
Mm-hmm.
No, I felt like that explanation was kind of I don't know, kind of like a cop out.
I like in my opinion, I like an explanation. It makes better sense than breaking the wand in half.
Yeah, it was more complex than just a simple snap in half, throw over a bridge.
Yeah, it's like saying like the most powerful sword, you break it, so I don't have it. I'd rather have it like placed somewhere and not used ever again until the last owner dies.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think if they wanted to snap it in half, like at least have him repair his old wand first.
Yeah.
You know what? I
That
agree.
makes way more sense.
Yeah.
I agree with that. You know what?
One of the things that, no one mentioned actually that it's a shame that it wasn't even included in the films at all is the return of Percy. Like Percy was like.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually in the film.
Was it? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
They had
one film actually,
of
like
him.
when Neville's giving a speech, he can actually be seen.
Yeah, but they don't see him returning, right? Because like Percy fights with the Weasleys 5 onwards, and it's only at 7.
But
Include
he
that.
wasn't focused in the other movies,
Like-
so it wouldn't really like I don't know. Like I don't really think it would have been as powerful as it was in the books.
Erica, you were saying something?
They should have had. I feel like that's another thing that I didn't like is that they like basically cut Percy out of the majority of the movie except for like a couple shots here and there, which I think like didn't make much sense. But Percy's redemption in the book made me cry.
Yeah.
And the part that made me cry even more was Fred's death with Percy because Percy said, hello, minister, did I mention I'm resigning? And then Fred's like, did you just make a joke, Percy? And then the wall falls down and Fred dies and Percy is like bawling and he's refusing to leave Fred's body. And it was just like, it was just heartbreaking. And I feel like having something that emotional would have like made it more interesting.
I mean, like, what do you think, Chad?
What?
Yeah. About Percy.
I don't really care about Percy, to be totally honest. So that one I don't really care that much because if they weren't gonna do half the stuff that they did with him, then it was just, I guess, go ahead, forget about him.
Yeah, I agree.
Probably the weirdest thing I saw though that genuinely confused me. Why was Cho still at Hogwarts? Wasn't she a year ahead of Harry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that when I saw her. I was like, why is she there? And it's
But
like,
you
if she was hiding
what-
out, fine, but why is she in her school uniform then?
Another thing that I found in part 1 actually
Yeah.
was in part 1 they show like Luna and Neville and all them going to Hogwarts, but Cormac McLagan is there, and he graduated last year, and he says my father will hear about this, and I'm just like, there's so much wrong with that. First of all, that's Draco's line, and second of all, you finished last year. It was really strange that they had him there. It was like, what do you? Why didn't they have Draco? Well, no, it doesn't make sense for Draco to say that because it was Death Eaters coming onto the train. But I'm just like, why didn't they think about that?
I think another scene that I saw that I was like, wait, what? So at the beginning of the movie, we're at the cottage and Luna's there, right?
Yeah.
They leave the cottage to go to Gringotts. Next time we see Luna, she's back in Hogwarts. I'm like, how did she get back in there?
There's a deleted.
There's actually a deleted scene
but it's deleted. So why delete it?
Yeah, I don't understand why they deleted that as well.
Because I'm just sitting there, I'm like, wait, how did she get back in the school?
I don't know if they were able to get back at school, then she should as well. I don't know.
I don't know. Did she know Aberforth? Because that's really the only way she could have gotten back in. Because obviously, since she was holed up at Malfoy Manor, she's obviously wanted now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. Like how they say that Luna's going back to Hogwarts in the deleted scene, but they don't explain how she went in.
To be fair, she wasn't wearing her uniform.
So right.
That was part of it. There was another plot bunny. I forgot to mention this in part 1 that I noticed. It was also part 2, I guess.
What?
But at Malfoy Manor, Dobby takes Narcissa Malfoy's wand. And then during the Fiendfire scene, Draco mentions that he's using his mother's wand.
Oh.
And I'm just like, how did he get it? Like, did maybe Dobby dropped it or something? But it was just like.
So that whole family has just one wand shared between 3 of them now?
I know.
Wait a minute.
The fact that they missed that between like the Fiendfire scene and Dobby taking her wand is just like they didn't put that together because like technically they should have had Narcissa's wand and Draco's wand. So why is Draco using his mother's wand?
And that Narcissa has
But it was Dobby that disarmed him though. Disarmed her. Whoops.
What?
That is a character I think we haven't really talked about. I actually really like Narcissa.
Yeah,
Me too.
Actually.
I really like her because she's definitely like not super great, but the whole scene where she finds out that Harry's alive and then she says he's dead is just kind of warms your heart. Like the fact that son is so important to her that she will like go and lie to him
it feels like with her she feels like a character who at the height of everything she was like, I'm on this dark side, but then when she starts seeing we might actually lose, she's like, I have to get out of this. I don't want any part of this anymore because there's a chance we could die and I don't want us to.
No, but
I also think part of it was I think it wasn't so much we could die. I think it was more so like she wasn't actually a Death Eater, technically. Like she didn't have the mark.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that I love so much about her is the most important thing to her was her son.
Yeah.
Nothing else mattered. If Draco is alive in the castle, she needs to go and get him. That's the part that I really, really like about Narcissa.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, like Narcissa was never really a bad person. Like, and it's poetry really. J.K. and I mentioned it. Harry is saved by a mother when he was young, and he's saved now again at the end of the fight, by mom. That's the moment. Like if Narcissa didn't really, if Narcissa said that he was alive and Voldemort killed him, then that game over. But Narcissa said that he was dead, so that was key to let Harry go back to Hogwarts and face Voldemort. So yeah, I like that part.
Yeah.
So should we start wrapping up?
Yeah. Okay. One last talk. I mean, like, what do you guys think? One last topic. What the end of the movie and end of the book 19 years later? What do you think about that? Because some Potter fans don't like it. Some Potter fans do. So what is your take on
it? Who's going first?
Go
ahead.
Erica, you can go ahead. You go ahead. Then
okay.
Eric.
So the epilogue, I liked it. The only thing is it was kind of like corny. If that makes sense. And that part I didn't really like. I don't know. Their kids looked very awkward. If that makes sense. The kids like Ron and Hermione's kids and Harry and Ginny's kids, their acting was just kind of awkward. And I don't know. I mean, they did a decent job with the like makeup that they used to show them older.
Yeah. Hermione didn't look older at all though.
I didn't like that they cut that moment with Ron where he's talking to Rose and saying, so that's Scorpius Malfoy. You gotta beat him and everything. And then I can't remember what started it, but he said there was someone like everyone's staring, and then Ron was like, "It's me. I'm very famous." I feel like that was a really funny line, and I feel like they should have put that in there because that would have made it a little less cringy.
Yeah. How about you, Chad? What do you think of the 19 years later? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's too?
They gave Ron a gut, so that was weird.
Yeah.
I noticed it when I was watching it. I was like, geez, these writers just do not like this character. He can just never win, and he only got Hermione by default because it was in the books. But no, I liked it. I was fine with it. it leaves you with that, like, it gives you that feeling of what next, but at the same time, this was a great finale. I mean, I thought it was a great way to end it.
I agree. Like you, Kevin, how about you? The 19 years later.
Oh man, like, you know what? Like, I don't care if it's corny. I love it as hell. Like, I just love it, like after everything they've been through. Like, they literally got involved in another war fighting basically Wizard Hitler, and they won. So, you know what? I think they deserve their like happy ending, I was just like, you know what? I'm happy for them. You know what? Like, they finally made their peace and all that, like we see that Harry's scar is faded away as said in the books. And like, I just thought, I don't know. I guess I just like corny stuff, but like, I just thought it was a great ending to the series, because now after so much pain and suffering, they're happy. So, yeah.
I did like it. I made it seem like I didn't like it, but I did really like it. I just feel like the execution of it in the movie was very cringy.
In my opinion, I liked it. I thought it was good seeing everyone, like happy and the war is over. And Chad, as we discussed in Cursed Child, all was well. Like no more threat.
All was well. Exactly. That's exactly I felt the movie did a great job of portraying all was well. It was peacetime. Everyone was smiling, happy, seeing their children off at the and it was, I like where it ended. It ended right where it started, because that's where they all met. And it ends with all of them at the place where they all met for the first time.
Agree.
Yeah.
And them staring at the train leaving is almost like them staring back in time to when they were at Hogwarts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because like when before the 19 years later thing, like the trio's standing together and they're looking, away from Hogwarts, actually looking away from it. So it's almost like they're looking at each other. So I thought that was awesome.
You were saying something, Erica?
One thing that reminded me when you mentioned the epilogue was that they kind of cut Teddy.
Oh yeah.
Teddy is Remus and Tonks' son. Yeah, and he wasn't a big part of it, but you can see in the Flight of the Seven Potters, she's about to mention that she's pregnant, and then they cut it off. Like, they could have just mentioned it and then include it after. And also Harry asked Remus about his son during when he brings them all back with the Resurrection Stone. And so it was just kind of, they could have easily just have her say that line in the Flight of the Seven Potters, and then it would have made way more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Alrighty.
So for me overall, I might have pointed out a few things that were negative, quote unquote, but I mean, I have no issues with this movie whatsoever.
Same.
None. I have no problems with it. I loved rewatching it today because it had been, oh gosh, maybe a year or two since I'd watched it last. And I just, from beginning to end, I absolutely love this movie.
I really love Death House Part 2. I mean, I have issues. I think the biggest issue I only have is Voldemort going out like a Thanos snap victim. But other than that, I mean, it's fine. I really thought I didn't mind it at all. I really didn't, It's a great finale. Everyone had their moment. Everyone got their shine. Like, Snape got his moment. McGonagall has a moment. Harry and Ron and Hermione have their moments. Neville has his moment. It's just an epic finale. I mean, to wrap it up, this is the perfect.
I mean, this is a movie that deserves to get the phrase "the end of an era." This was far more the end of an era than Endgame getting that bullshit title.
Yes. Okay.
No, this was the end of an era. This was the Return of the Jedi. This was the story is done.
Yes.
I agree. You mentioned that you prefer this over Return of the King. You'd rather watch this over Return of the King, Chad.
Yeah, I would rather watch this over Return of the King. I love all three Lord of the Rings movies, but I just this just had more heart and emotional scenes in it than the Lord of the Rings had.
I mean, like, as much as I love Endgame, you know how much I love Endgame, Chad. But yeah, Death Hallows Part 2 deserves the title of End of an Era. Like, it wraps it up perfectly. Like, there's no flaw at all. So, like, yeah, you, Kevin, you were saying?
Yeah, so, yeah, like, despite, like, my few nitpicks I have of the film, like, I mean, my nitpicks aren't really criticisms, if I'm honest. It was a great, just a fantastic ending to the series. Like it surprised me how the last film in the series, well, the Harry Potter series, and like it's the best one. So I thought that was, I respected that the last one was the best one, and I think it did a good job wrapping basically everything up. And like you said, everybody got their moments. Like it was just so memorable, and I think like I don't think I'm ever going to forget about it ever.
Nice. And you, Erica, your thoughts, your final thoughts?
Yeah, part 2 was really good. I think the movie was really good. The special effects were incredible, like really well done. I think of all of the movies, that's the best one. I think my main problems was the little parts that they left out. Like some of the parts that they left out were some of my favorite parts. So I think that's why I'm a little biased towards it. But if I look at it as just a movie and not a movie based off a book, it was really good and well done. And like I said, Daniel Radcliffe was incredible with it. Like the two, well, first of all, Alan Rickman, rest in peace. He was incredible in part 2.
Yeah.
He gets number 1 there. Like he was just perfect. And Daniel Radcliffe was really good as well. And so I will. It definitely did end an era, and I didn't watch the movies as they were coming out, but you know when I did watch them all, it was wow. But
that's a shame because I'm not gonna lie, watching this on the big IMAX screen like I saw it,
yeah,
that was amazing.
I mean, like,
yeah.
I hope they re-release them in theaters at one point because I really want to see them all.
Yeah.
It might be next year because in 2021 in June or Christmas, I can't remember, will be the 10-year anniversary since it came out.
Oh.
If they do, I would love to. If they do something where it's like you can see all 8 of them or something like that, I would totally pay for something like that.
I would be there first day, maybe even midnight. Like I might even try that. Like I hope
do that. Philippines. Because like they don't really show re-releases. They never show Jurassic Park 3D here or stuff like that.
That sucks.
Yeah, that sucks. But I hope that I hope they show Harry Potter again here in the Philippines. I would really want to watch it. And I mean, like, I'm not even kidding. The hype for Death Hallows Part 2. People say that Endgame was the most hyped up movie. Nah, it's not. It's DH Part 2. I remember going to the cinema and all these people were in Hogwarts robes. Like people about to watch the movie were like excited. People who just came out were crying their eyes out. I was like, this is gonna be epic. So when I watched, I was like, yeah.
Alrighty, so I think that's it then.
Yeah, I think that's it. We wrap it up, but we're not done since we next
I know we make this big deal. It's the end of an era. It's a finale. Oh wait, there's one more episode.
There's one more episode with the
spin-offs.
With the spin-offs, the Fantastic Beasts movies, and we can't wait for you to hear our thoughts about that. So everyone, this is Santino signing off. If you want to hear more from Erica, I'll put a link to her Tumblr below. And if you want to hear more from Kevin, his YouTube link channel is down below as well. So thank you guys for listening, and we hope to see you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Have a great night.